Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here. While you're here, remember to subscribe so you wouldn't miss out on the new tutorials that I'll be putting up every week. So in today's tutorial, we'll be looking at the pattern SWAGS, which is by Neil Burley. So this is a pattern which has nice contrast, which adds a nice drama and contrast to the tile because it has a lot of inked in areas in it. So let's look at that pattern today. So the tools I'm using is my 01 and 08 micron pen. So I'll mostly be doing the tangles with the 01 pen, and 08 I will be using to fill up the areas which has lots of ink. And then my pencil for shading and a blending tool or tortillon for smoothing the shading. But if you don't have one, you can use a earbud as well. Alright, and my 3.5 square inch Zentangle tile. Right. So gather your supplies and be seated in a comfortable position. Relax your necks, arms, shoulders, taking a couple of nice deep breaths while also showing gratitude towards your time, your materials, anyone that you want to thank. Just show some gratitude and get ready to begin your drawing. So we'll start with our pencil, making corner dots just like this around all the four corners of the tile here, and next we're going to join them lightly to form our border. Doesn't matter if your lines are not absolutely straight. Okay, so just enjoy what you're doing. Right, so here I have my corner dots and border done. So next I'm going to do my string. So my string today is, I'm going to go from end to end here from this corner. I'm not worried if the line comes out of this border, doesn't matter. I'm just going to draw a line something like this. Alright, so again another round of line, creating a band like this here. Alright, so this is my string for today. So once we have our tile set up, I am picking up my 01 micron pen and I will begin the tangle. So the pattern or the tangle SWAGS. So I'm going to divide this band to form grids or boxes of squares or rectangles on my tile here. So I'm going to start approximately somewhere, just eyeballing in the middle and draw a line. And again here probably I can fit in two, so let me just go ahead and make two lines just like so, and again another two lines over here just like this. So I have my 1, 2, 3, 4 and two partial squares or partial rectangles you can call. So once I have this down, let me show you how the pattern goes here in one of the squares. So if this is the square, what I'm going to do is somewhere in the center of this I am going to add a smaller square, something like this. Okay, so in all of them, somewhere in the center I am going to make a tiny little square, something like this. Alright, so here, since there's no lot of space, just assuming that the square just goes out of the tile. Alright, So once I have this down, now from each corner of this tile, I'm going to extend this line, always going clockwise this way. So from this corner to here, from this corner to here, again from this corner to here, and this corner to here. Alright, so you can turn your tile while doing so, just like this. So you're going from corner to corner, corner to this line, string line that we did, or the grid line. So always turning your tile, making the strokes just like this. Alright. So at these corners, whatever space you have, just work in that space. Alright, just assuming that the lines or the strokes are going out of the tile. Alright, so once you have this down, the next step in the pattern swags is, again from the same corners that you extended the lines, you are now going to add a curvy line going from that point to the edges of this big square or rectangular shape that we have here. So from this corner, I'm going to add a curvy line joining the corner of the bigger square, and again I'm turning my tile and doing the same thing from each of these edges to the edge of the bigger square here. Alright, so let me do that once again. So each time I'm going in a clockwise direction. Focusing on one current pen stroke that your pen is making on the paper. Just go ahead and make these nice little curvy lines here. Alright, so this is our next step. And once you have got this here, okay, I need to add a couple more here. Alright, so once we have this, again, the stroke that you just added in this area, we are going to fill this area using the same stroke that we just added, going again from corner, this time going around this line. Alright, so let me just show you one here. So something like this, we are just covering the line with the repetitive strokes or auras. Again, notice how I'm going clockwise, turning my tile. So I'm just taking my time here and adding the lines. So you can go ahead and work on your own pace here. If you feel I'm going too fast, you can pause and take your time to complete, and then join me back. Remember to slow down and breathe. So every now and then observe your grip on the pen. If you're holding it too tight, just loosen the grip. just one by one square at a time, you're filling these repetitive strokes. And I have this tiny little last one here. Alright, so now I have my whole of the band with swags all filled up with lines here. So now in the remaining spaces, kind of these triangle spaces that are here, I'm going to pick up my 08 pen for the same, and I'm going to ink the spaces here. So let me just show you one. So slowly taking my time, I'm going to add the dark of the ink in these kind of triangular shapes that are formed here. So something like this, all of the areas that are there, the triangle shapes, we are going to ink them in with the dark of our ink. Alright, so you can go ahead and ink it at your own pace. So I will take my time and ink this here, and I will meet you in a bit. So I have my areas all filled in now here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add one aura on either side of this band of swags that I've got here. Right? So just like this, and again I'm using my 01 micron pen for this. So I'm just going to go ahead and add one aura on both sides here. Something like this. This is just to kind of, set it off against the patterns that we are going to add here. Alright, so I think in this area I am going to add pattern Ansu by Lori. So it is a very nice organic pattern where it starts with kind of this teardrop shape like this, but notice I'm not joining it here in the end. Instead I'm going to continue it inside and repeat, making the same teardrop or the almond shape strokes until I have no space left, and in the end I'm just going to add a little bit of weight here. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and do that in whole of this section. So you can you can vary the size of that, make as if one is going behind the other, one is smaller than the other, so whatever you wish to, just following the same stroke, changing even the direction of the teardrop. So you can make it clockwise or anti-clockwise, whatever feels right for your hands. You can just go ahead and make them. Right, so something like this. just a few to fill up your space. Right, maybe a tiny one here. Alright, so once you have this down, here and there in between these teardrops that you just made, you can add these wonderful filler of the pattern tipple. It's just tiny little orbs that you can just squish in any space that you have here, and maybe inking in the rest of the spaces. Just take your time and hold your tile at an arm's length and just see where you want to add more orbs, or maybe you want to add a couple more ansus here and there. So whatever suits your fancy, just take your time and see and add them. So I'm happy with what I have here. So what I'm going to do is, next in this section, I'm going to just add these orbs that we just added, but I'm going to do them along this string line that I have here, and I'm going to make these a little larger like this, so that I can go ahead and do something a little bit more inside. So just like this. Once I've added these orbs, now I'm going to go ahead and again inside I'm adding another one here, just a tiny little one inside the orbs that you just added. Alright, so just like this. Now again with my 08, I'm just gonna ink these inside circles, but I'm gonna leave this tiny little space here so that it adds a nice sparkle to the orb itself. So that sparkle can be in any can be anywhere on this orb. It need not always be on the top. You can make it a little bit towards right here or left here, somewhere you feel like you want to add the sparkle. You can just leave that space and ink in the rest of the areas there. Right, so I just have a few more. Alright, so here's my tile which I have tangled now, and the next step is I'm going to add some shading to this tile here. So with my graphite pencil, for the pattern swags that we did at these areas where all the lines meet, so I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit of graphite just like this. So since all the lines are meeting there is already kind of depth or darkness there, so I'm just enhancing that with a little shade of gray here. So on these orbs, so what I'm going to do is here, just here on one edge, which is opposite the sparkle that we left, I'm just going to add a little shading just like this, and probably around this band itself, just to set it off a little bit. So I'm not bringing the graphite outside this, I mean inside this line here. I don't want this I don't want this area to be gray. I want it white. So I'm just going to go ahead and do just on top of the line here also. Alright, so on your Ansu, a couple of them probably here and there, just like one line, and we smoothen it out. It looks like kind of a disc here. So once I have all of my graphite down, I am going to use my tortillon or the blending tool or earbud, whatever you have. Just use small little circular movement of the tool here and just smoothen it out, working the graphite, the grays of the pencil into the fibers of the paper, just giving it a nice shade of gray here. So while you're doing this, so take your time and see where you want to add more dark. That is the good thing about graphite, where you need not make it dark in the first round. If you don't like your tile getting too dark, so you can take your time, make as light as possible, and then you can look at your tile at an arm's length and see if it is too light. Maybe you want to add some dark somewhere, so you can go ahead and do that. You need not do the shading as dark as I have done here. So here it is. Here our tile for today. It is time to now add our initial or chop, as we call in Zentangle, and here you go. Now it's time to appreciate the artwork that you have created today. So I hope you enjoyed what you learned today, and please share your creations. So you can put it up across any of the social media that you want to, and you can tag me. I can have a look, and below this video in the description you will find the links to my social media handle, and or you can even join the Bangalore Tanglers group on Facebook and share your creations there. Alright, so if you enjoyed the tutorial, please give it a thumbs up and leave your comments here, and I'll see you soon again with the next little project of mindfulness here. So thank you again for joining me. See you.